Well, hello again, race fans from around the world. Welcome to another broadcast here on VirtualRacing.Network. My name is Trevor Greenfield. I will be your host and commentator today, as I have been for each and every race here of the 2021 IndyCar iRacing Series. So we're so proud to bring you round 10 here at Sonoma Raceway in the dry, I want to call it a desert almost here in the west, but don't worry, Sonoma always looks a little dried out by this time of the year here in August. Of course, August 6th, and as you can see there on the screen, we're getting ready to do 68 laps of fun and exciting action around the Sonoma course. Now, this is the 2.22 mile circuit. This was the circuit that IndyCar used from 2012 to 2018. And there you can also see on your screen as we get just about ready to go to qualifying. In fact, I think we're just about switching over now. You can see from earlier in the week where the 2021 IR18 world records were set in the Wednesday race by Rashad Craig, who I've had the pleasure of racing with several times. Did a 1:13.674 in qualifying, and then in the race a 1:14.512. So we'll see if today anyone has anything for Adam Crane, who is actually in the field today. I don't think Rashad Craig will be back today. I don't see him in the field to make today's race. That's part of the cool part of this series, is you never really know who's going to show up until they get here. So let's take a look. And get some of this other stuff off the screen here. Apologize for that. There we go. Finally, we can jump into qualifying as well. We've got Adam Crane about to start his first flyer lap, so that's probably a great place to start. And there he begins his first lap. Of course, 2021 IndyCar iRacing Series overall champion last year. This year, leading the points. We'll get to that in just a moment. But in addition, doing fabulously over in the Road Open Series. And competitor every time out in the Elite Series as well when racing in that league. So what a great pleasure it is for us to have the number one driver, Adam Crane, part of this broadcast Friday here on VirtualRacing.Network. So nobody has yet put in a time. We have Adam Crane, Tom Pritchard, Julian Van Erf, Emil Johansson, Alexei Talipov, all on track at the moment. Dennis Fritz, Mads Lund, Radek Sakura in the field, Brendan Burkroff, Matthias Kraus, Andrew Marquez, Moritz Hengelhoff. And so a number of these drivers, Richard Crozier, we've seen him before. So Burkroff puts in our first time, 1:14.48. Crane will be just behind. Goes over the start-finish stripe. His time, a 1:13.76 that time by. Of course, we're looking for a 1:13.674 to beat the current world record set by Rashad Craig. And of course, the actual world record for the IndyCar in general, much faster, because in the past, the car had more downforce in previous iterations. But since 2021, the new damage model, the new tire model, the changeover in 2019, to the new downforce configuration. This car slowly getting a little faster every time they do an update, but basically is never going to challenge at most tracks for that old world record. So important to take a look at the 2021 times if we want to see that kind of thing. Moritz Hengelhoff jumping up into second place, 1:14.36. So you can see the difference here. Last time I raced in the Indy Road Open Series, we raced the other version. I think it's the NASCAR version where you keep going down this straightaway, and that's where you still pit, but you rejoin the track right here where Adam Crane now It's a much shorter track, this IndyCar version. And so Crane that time a 13.42. So Adam Crane with the 2021 IndyCar world record here set on VirtualRacing.Network as we have Richard Crozier finishing his second lap. We're on board. Crozier diving into the long sweeping left-hander on the backside of the circuit. Gets set for a very tight hairpin to the right. Very crucial to get the power on just perfect for this corner. Quick, right, left, left, right. And then very hard on the brakes for this chicane. Tricky, those curbs there. The first curb, you can take quite a bit of that curb, but the second curb you cannot. I thought qualifying was almost over there for a second because Richard Crozier is blinking out on us, but that's the way that goes. Here we go, across the start-finish line. Will Crozier improve his position? And he does a little bit, about a tenth, and that's enough to take him up back into fourth. So we have a couple drivers, B.R. Crow just finishing here, Tom Pritchard also just finishing his qualifying lap. Dan Ench not setting a time. Last Lap Motorsports driver. Awesome to have a teammate in the field today. Justin Petschauer also choosing not to set a time. Not sure what that's about. Andrew Duffy also not getting in a time, nor Derek Gress not getting a time. So all those drivers, presuming they are going to start, are going to have to start from the back. And we wait for this session to go official. Still green on the track, so if one of these drivers did want to go out, actually we do have one car out. It is Julian Van Erf. Thanks for coming out and giving us something to watch here, Julian. 6 minutes and 25 seconds into this session, so we still have about a minute and a half to go. I think Julian's going to get in one lap. All eyes on Julian. Can Julian take that pole position from Crane? And meanwhile, silently, we weren't focusing the camera on him. I promise we'll get a little bit more coverage during the race. But Andrew Marquez, the New Jersey-based driver who, if you've been watching the Road Open series, the Fixed series, he's a driver that has been coming on, I don't want to say as of late, but for the last several seasons, Marquez creeping up there in the point standings, and as we see Van Erf finishing his qualifying lap, currently sitting 8th, but anyway, Marquez now up in the points here in the IndyCar iRacing series. Looks like Van Erf choosing to pull it in, and never too late for an off track. This, of course, being an official series. Off tracks do count against you and do affect your safety rating. So you really don't want to do that, if you can avoid it, because they do all count against you in qualifying and the race put together. So again, we just wait for this to finish up. About 7 more seconds left before we can officially announce it. But as you can see there on your screen, Adam Crane. Well, it's hard to beat him, and we've got multiple going on here at the same time. Let's go back. Adam Crane's going to start from pole position, and quite exciting, actually, to see Adam outpacing everybody by at least 2/10, but certainly setting the world record for the 2021 IndyCar here on VirtualRacing.Network. And as the cars are gridding up out there, we'll take a look at the end of the grid. Suppose we could go through it one at a time. How about that? Adam Crane, Andrew Marquez, Moritz Hengelhop. No surprise to the VirtualRacing.Network viewers and family over on YouTube. By the way, just want to give a big shout out. We've got a few people watching us right now. I appreciate that. I know that IndyCar is, I think, about to hit the track over in Nashville at their new street circuit. But thank you for tuning in here, either during the race or afterwards. And I just want to say thank you to all the subscribers because we have actually hit a new milestone, over 100 subscribers on our channel, which, you know, you could draw comparisons all you want to other series and other broadcasters. That's great, but we've only been just starting our coverage with the IndyCar iRacing series earlier this year, just kind of thinking, hey, this would be fun to do, and, you know, I've always kind of wanted to see whether this was possible for me. You see the birds flying over there in Sonoma, quite realistic here on iRacing service. But yeah, just having a lot of fun with it, and you know, this thing has really grown, and again, we just really appreciate your support. I appreciate you tuning in each week and watching the videos, rooting on your teammates in the YouTube chat room, and we promise that VirtualRacing.Network's coverage is only going to get better and better, and as I can devote more and more time to it, I'll make sure that a lot of these different issues and technicalities are worked out. But it looks like we're still missing BR Crow from the grid. He may have to start from it, and he will. BR Crow and Andrew Duffy will be starting from the pit lane, missing their grid positions. We've also got another driver, looks a little slow to get away from the grid, but everyone gets going. So Adam Crane there and Andrew Marquez on your screen, circulating under the pace car, getting ready. We're waiting for Adam Crane to pick up the field. I think Crozier and Marquez getting a little anxious for Adam to get up there. Not sure what's going on with Adam Crane, but he's kind of laying back at the moment. Anyway, get the ticker up there on the screen so that we can, of course, be able to track all the action. We'll wait for this momentary reshuffling to finish. But what an exciting series, and at the same time, we can take a look at our current points while they are circulating. And it is none other than Adam Crane, who has been dominating pretty much Broadcast Friday, with the occasional slip, an occasional difficulty like in Montreal, but nonetheless, Henry Bennett also finding time, I guess, to race on Sundays, staying in this championship, staying in second place, but quite a gap, and we haven't yet seen Henry Bennett, of course, this week. He'll probably choose, as does Hugo Olsson, will choose most likely to race on Sunday. Our last race, Mid-Ohio, it was Bennett and then Kraus. So you see Kraus now in third of the championship, Olsson falling to fourth, Marquez up into fifth in the championship, so he's looking really solid there. Now, a number of these drivers actually, and we see that there's possibility some things happening further back in the field with some drivers really shuffling up and having difficulty. And again, we still have Marquez out in front. I'm not sure what exactly is taking place here. We'll get these points off the screen. Again, we don't have voice chat turned on, so I'm not sure. There, finally, Adam Crane resumes his place at the front.
Green, green, green.
And we are green as the cars really shuffle further back in the pack. What a strange start that was. I know that Adam Crane had to hold back. So Moritz Hengelhop now up into second over Marquez. Marquez now slipping back into third with Richard Crozier staying in fourth. Matthias Kraus in fifth. Brendan Burkroff in sixth. Everybody back to about ninth, still in the spot where they started. But up front, very familiar, Adam Crane, the Canadian, dominating this series and starting from pole here with the world record lap. Moritz Hengelhop holding tight in second place. Look down the field. So far, I don't see, except for Derek Gress past Dan Inch. Let's see if we can tell what happened here. Gress passing Inch and then crashing moments later. Not sure what happened. But now we have a note also. We'll have to forego that because Rydick Sikora having a crash potentially. Looking on your screen. Oh, and there another driver just going around. Not sure what took place there. this. Another driver just coming screaming across the track. I believe that's either Mads Lund. The car that we're showing there on the screen in the Penske paint job is Alexei Talipov, who got taken out of his position, but again, I think it being either BR Crow's still out there, so not sure. Oh, Tom Pritchard getting involved, the Australian, in that incident. So a little tricky to tell there from the way that it all came down, but it looked like Pritchard really having a braking moment coming into that hairpin and unfortunately taking it out on another driver. Alexei, I hope that doesn't bother you from coming and joining us on Broadcast Friday. It's a pleasure to have all of these awesome competitors. Now, the interesting thing going on here, as I was mentioning at the top of the broadcast, is you never really know what you're going to get in this series. Much like Forrest Gump in a box of chocolates. Never really know what you're going to get here. And basically, Marquez really under attack. First taken, the position taken from him by Crozier, and now Matthias Kraus around the outside gets it done. Possibly Marquez having damage. Go on board. You see his accomplishments last season in the Indy Open Series, 6th place, in the Fixed Series, 7th place. Now he's in 5th here. We have a couple of other notes. We've got Mads Lund crashing again. I'm not sure if we're on the right car there. Let's see if we can get over to that. Yes, spinning off. We'll catch it a little late there. Trying to work with this software and get it to actually pick up a little earlier, but it does not ever seem to want to play nicely. So he had an incident, or Mads there had an incident. Sorry to presume. Don't mean to have the wrong pronoun. Tom Pritchard still circulating with left side wing damage from that incident, most likely. He flew across the hairpin. And also Andrew Duffy apparently having another issue, or having an issue there, getting a little sideways coming off the other hairpin on the track. And then just recently, Derek Bress, I guess, pulling it over and choosing to pit. So some difficulty here as we go back up to the lead. And actually, that's wrong car. That's Andrew Marquez, but there's the right car. Adam Crane just really taking care of business. A 1:14.84 that time by. So we're looking for 1:14.512 to upset that track record. We might get that a little bit later on, as the drivers might be a little cautious at this point. We'll take a look back through the field as best as we can. Cameras here are a little weird for iRacing. They're it's every time we go to a different track, they seem to work a little differently. I think one of the things we would love to do is get some custom cameras going here. Something I would personally love to get into if I could spend a little bit more time doing it, but it's always graphics to build and other things to prep for. But if you're out there, you're a custom camera maker, and you want to help us to bring some more action to the series, you can let us know. Also, I know there are some places that we can purchase custom cameras as well on the internet, so feel free to give us a shout in the comments as Richard Crozier kind of blinks out and then does some damage on our screen. But anyway, Moritz Hengelhaupt, that damage, by the way, just a momentary thing. It's not real, of course. Moritz Hengelhaupt here, 1:14.77 that time by, so not quite taking the world record, but much faster than the 1:14.98, 0.2 faster than the race leader, Adam Crane. Hengelhaupt with a beautiful red paint job there. It's matching oil vendor there. And then we look in 4th place, another oil-related livery, classic from, of course, All-American Racers, the one that I remember that livery for, but it's been used across many different series. Matthias Kraus here, the Bavarian, doing an awesome job to defend his place in the points. Right now in fourth, picked up a spot on the start. Of course, Brendan Burcroft also picking up a spot on the start. Familiar IndyCar livery and NASCAR livery, to be quite honest. And now we're seeing Marquez perhaps having another issue. Let's go back to that. What happened to Mr. Marquez? Got tapped from behind. I believe that was Fritz. Yes, it was Fritz. Let's see if we can back that up. Take a look at it from Fritz's point of view, which didn't quite get there, so we'll back it up one more time. The only problem is software doesn't always want to participate. Yeah, it's tough to tell there. The two drivers taking different lines look like Fritz was really late on the binders and Marquez much earlier on the binders. We have a note here, Julian Vennerf having a moment going off. Yep, getting it wrong. That's turn one. Came back on the track, and then we have Alexei Talipov here in the final hairpin. Probably not very happy with that car right now. But I tell you who's probably pretty happy with it. It's this guy, Adam Crane. Currently sitting in the points lead. Comfortable 1.6 second gap over Moritz Engelhaupt in second. It's a question as to whether anybody at all has the pace and ability to catch Adam Crane, as he just seems to be able to do whatever he'd like with that Indy car. There you see a couple of cars having problem. That's Mads Lund that we're currently focused on, and I believe that was also either Radek Sakura. Yeah, Radek Sakura getting involved in that, as well as Andrew Duffy. Andrew Duffy there in the beautiful green and black Vector machine. It was cool to see some custom liveries. And speaking of custom liveries, it's a good time to mention we will not be able to do, going forward, what we've been able to do all season by utilizing the Trading Paints service. I think it's pretty obvious why we can't continue to do that, and most broadcasters choosing to move away from doing that sort of thing, allowing drivers to be able to run whatever livery they'd like. Most drivers, such as Crane here, involved in we've got another incident, this time with Radek Sakura at the center of it. Looks like he's spinning. They're spinning there in the middle of the chicane, and another driver coming to a very quick stop. Justin Headshower coming up just behind it as well. So what we will be doing is and that was Tom Pritchard. We had a note that Pritchard had crashed. Of course, he came upon this incident. So back to it. As I was mentioning before, Adam Crane now coming up on the back of, I believe that is a lap car. Do not have relative timing. So that being the 13 car of Alexei Talipov in the Penske, very familiar livery. But I was, for the third time I'll try to finish, Adam Crane and a number of other drivers are part of a team, and of course they're trying to represent the VRS Satellite Racing team here, and so that's why you would see the livery displayed for them and teammates. I suppose that either Moritz is part of a team, or if he's not part of a team and he's just choosing, this could be his personal livery, or if he is part of a team, he might just be choosing to display whatever livery during the personal run here in the IndyCar iRacing series. Nevertheless, like I said, what we will be doing is putting forth a service for everybody to upload their livery to, as well as be able to update all of their information in our system. So all of the driver names, etc., the age, the hometown, all of that. We will be able to make sure that we get that straight for you here on the broadcast. But back to it. Current running order, Adam Crane is your leader. He started from pole with the world record lap for the 2021 IndyCar. Currently finds himself there in the lead by 1.48 seconds, so that lead has kind of moved back and forth as we have a number of cars. That's Alexei Talipov there having a moment. Now, this is a single split, so we see Matthias Kraus in fourth and Brendan Burcroft up into fifth. All these drivers now gaining a position. Dennis Fritz also gaining a position. It looks like Andrew Marquez, who started in second place, has managed to bring it back into contention and fix whatever issue he was having at that moment. But here, see Tom Pritchard having another issue in that hairpin. It's very likely. Now, we were just talking ahead of the broadcast. Let me get back to this. Thank you. And there's the weather. It's 106 degrees on the track with was a 15-mile-an-hour wind beforehand. Now it's an 8-mile-an-hour wind. That 106 degrees on track, not the hottest that we see. Usually we can see upwards of 130 plus on the track. So that'll burn off those red tires real quick. 106 degrees, a little bit more manageable, but when you have these tight corners, you know, really anything can happen. Emil Johansson here, top of the hill, turn one. It's not sticking anymore. And Julian Van Erf having another moment, same place, spinning around. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's a different spot just after where the previous driver had a spin. There he gets it going. Where they get it going. So back up front, it is Adam Crane in the lead. Lap 11 here of round 10. You're watching the 2021 IndyCar iRacing series. And AJ Musselman joining us over in the YouTube chat room. Awesome to have you there. Would rather have you in the broadcast, to be honest. Only 18 cars in this field, and it's a single split, so I'm sure everybody at the top end of this one would have loved to see about 6 or 8 more cars out there on the track, but that's part of what I was saying. You don't know what to expect when you are out here in any one of these official series races. It could be 3 splits, and you might be surrounded by 4,000 and 3,000. That's BR Crow, by the way, sliding off the track. 4,000, 5,000, 3,000 iRating drivers, or you may have this dearth of iRating. You may have this kind of wide spectrum of iRating. We watch Adam Crane circulate here, but in this single split, that's exactly what we've got. The lowest rated driver, 1,121 in the field. And would you believe that driver is last? The drivers in the 1,000s are running from 14th to 18th, so last. The drivers with the most iRating are running in the top 5, and the drivers with the middle amount of rating are driving and currently running in the middle of the field. So if you were to predict this one based on iRating, you probably would be close to right, except Richard Crozier, who is in the number 2 car, is out of order there. He's all the way back and forth. So what I'm saying is, for somebody like Adam Crane, you've got to get it right. And we'll go on board here and just ride with Adam. You still got to manage traffic as you come across it. That driver may be 1,000 iRating. Maybe more. They may give you room, they may not. And you've still got to manage your tires just the same as everyone else. Those rear tires on these reds, infamous for going off. These alternate tires, infamous for going off quickly. And these sorts of corners here and the hairpin are prime places to really build up the heat in those rears. And that is what makes you spin out as soon as they get overheated. There you hear how hard Adam Crane braking for the corner. Thus far on our world record watch, nobody yet setting that race world record, but again, as we get into the second half of this race and the drivers fill up for their last stop, potentially going to see some drivers go into that push to pass button and trying to get that fast time. So Adam now coming up on, I believe this Emil Johansson just in front. So would be the last driver not a lap down. We'll see as we go by. I believe that Justin Petschauer actually. Oh, yet I am wrong again. It's neither one of them. Really need some relative timing as well. I think I'll fix that. I do have the ability to get that somehow, but what we can do is actually show this. So there you go. You can see it was Emil Johansson that he did just pass. Adam Crane did, and his next on track will be Tom Pritchard. Able to see that in our battle box down there to the bottom right-hand corner. So, not trying to make this the Adam Crane show, but of course it's alluring because you want to know what he's going to do, when that pit stop will come, whether any difficulties will be encountered. But at the meantime, we've got the Berliner Moritz Hengelhaupt in second place, holding it down, and Hengelhaupt has had just, you know, moments of absolute brilliance where you thought in previous races here on VirtualRacing.Network where you could have sworn this driver was going to be a podium finisher, and then having issues, getting contact, some self-inflicted issues, a couple of correction issues that went wrong, and so Hengelhaupt not able to necessarily be right up there in the points because of not getting those strong finishes, but definitely a contender every time out. We take a look at Matthias Kraus again. Matthias, you know, the first part of this season, Matthias was strong, but no way to predict that Matthias would be bringing, you know, podium level finishes potentially each and every week. And a previous top finisher in the series, but currently running in third here in the race, up 2 spots today. Matthias really having a good show, and this being the highest strength of field race for the week potentially, going to do all kinds of favors for his points, especially if Sunday's strength of field is not very high as well. We look back at Richard Crozier, who's been holding it tight in fourth and just a little bit ahead here of Brendan Burcroft. This is actually one of our closest battles on track, but I'll tell you what has actually really tightened up is the battle for third as well. So we keep an eye on this battle. It looks like Crozier might be under attack very soon, but here you see Hengelhaupt with Kraus just behind. That is just 0.7 of a second back. So continue to watch these two drivers. And we had an incident here between Andrew Duffy and it looks like Radek Sikora, possibly Peschauer making it through that. And there you see some bits and pieces still coming off of the machine. I'm wondering if that isn't, and it is, it's Alexei Talipov who's indeed having a big issue, been having issues all race. See that Team Penske machine torn up. But go back and look at the front. I honestly can't keep track of the number of incidents. If I showed you every single one that pops up with drivers sliding off the track, we would never get to see any actual race footage here. And this was kind of the situation. And there you can see Adam Crane and another car just straight lining the chicane there. I think just trying to give Adam Crane a little bit more space. would have been Andrew Duffy, so let's go back and look at that. How close was that for our leader? Our leader came up very fast, but Duffy kind of staying out of the way there, going around. Oh no. Tried to go out, tried to make it through the tires there, and unfortunately didn't quite make it, but we go back to Adam Crane. We're at lap 18. Adam just having the race of his dreams for the week so far. Up 10 seconds now on Moritz Hengelhop. So Hengelhop having a real issue in falling back. Thus far, none of our leaders stopping. No early undercut action or anything. We do have a note that, let's see here. Just while we're trying to find some action going on here on the track, it looks like possibly Andrew Duffy getting service, and that's why we're seeing that Dan Ench has now made his way up into 13th spot. So Ench in the ALZ org, the Alzheimer's organization, Alzheimer's Association machine, bringing awareness to the Alzheimer's Association. Do a number of, he's my teammate at Last Lap Motorsports, and so he's also part of US IndyCar League, which we also cover on Sundays right here on VirtualRacing.Network. So if you're looking for more VirtualRacing.Network action, you might look at possibly subscribing and that big red button there and liking this video, and then you know what, you'll get to see some of our other broadcasted action, including, as I mentioned, US IndyCar League on Sundays. You'll get to catch Dan Ench and a number of other great racers, including Graham Bunyan, who's won about 7 races in a row, I believe. And so tune in Sunday mornings. It's so early out here on the West Coast, 7 o'clock. I don't need AA, but if I was, this would be it for me. I just show up with my coffee and red eyes and we jump into broadcast. But 10 o'clock for you East Coasters in the United States, and I believe that would be about 3 o'clock BST. So we have Radek Sakura having another incident. You know, Radek is one of these drivers that frequently you will see find his way up into the top of the points, find their way up into the top of the points, and at the top of the finishing order at the end of the race, and for sure not having that exact day, but still sticking in it and up in the top 10. And again, you know, we come into this with some very different perspectives, to be quite honest. Crane is obviously chasing another championship, obviously looking at possibly a race win here. And a number of other drivers, as I've mentioned before, if you want to race in this league, in this series, it's an open series. So you just go into iRacing, and if you have enough iRating and you qualify, you can get into this race that we broadcast every Friday, 11 o'clock my time, Pacific time, of course 2 o'clock Eastern time, and 7 o'clock PM if you're BST. We have more notes of Sakura as well as Alexei Talipov having another incident on the track. We'll just not bother to go over and show that. But then you have a number of drivers like Hengelhop might be just making the races that they can and trying to get points possibly in the series, yeah, or just having a great time trying to get iRating and trying to win a race that's being broadcasted. Why not? Then Matthias Kraus here in third place, still holding. I mean, this is like 0.6 of a second as you see Talipov out mowing some grass, doing the landscaper some favors. But Kraus, again, there's no requirement to commit to the schedule. There's 3 drop weeks, and so you can run 5 different races during the week. So I invite anyone who wants to get in, and you know, the only thing is that yes, you can come in and you can race, and And of course, right now, to get a top 10 in this race today, I think Justin Petschauer is currently our 10th place driver, and he's got 2,000 iRating. It shows that he would be able to increase his iRating by just 12 points, but nevertheless, it's an easy way for a lot of drivers to jump in and possibly get a good iRating finish if you can keep it on track. Main thing is, just have the respect for the competitors in the championship, that they are racing for a championship, and it's best to not cause problems if you can during the race. Maybe give just a little bit more room. I'm kind of guilty of violating that myself this last week, as I decided to go jump into the Richmond Open race. It was a single split as well, and I went out there and was just racing hard and racing fast and possibly not respecting those boundaries myself. And I got a great run on a Chris Willite, who is also in the top of this series as well. He's up in the points here. We've had a chance to call him on some of the broadcasts. But I got a great run on Chris Willite, and there's not much time to really signal passes at Richmond, so I threw it in, and unfortunately, he kind of moved over to cover my block, or to cover my line, and I ended up making contact with Chris and putting him in the wall. Feel bad about that. So if you're listening out there, Chris, my apologies, but I haven't had a chance to personally say sorry to you, but appreciate everybody understanding that there's never any actual intent behind any of that stuff, just some close racing, and I don't do enough racing. That's really the problem. As we see here, Moritz Hengelhaupt leads some of our leaders down pit road. Hengelhaupt first to blink, as is Matthias Kraus. Dennis Fritz now making his way down pit road. These drivers pitting out of the top positions. Adam Crane, Brendan Burcroft, Richard Crozier continuing. So we see Crane now on screen, and we will put up the track map behind this battle box for a second so that you can see where your favorite drivers are and where they will come out. On the track map there, you can see the red and white stripe. That's your start-finish line. And you'll see Adam Crane now making his way down into the pits. So your leader now in the pits. We expect probably Brendan Burcroft will come in just behind. Making his way there. The American, now shown up 4 spots, will give up, as well as Richard Crozier will likely give up a spot. And Burcroft, Crozier now in the pits. So we will see where they rejoin. As I mentioned, Adam Crane now finding his pit stall. So this gives Andrew Marquez the lead of the race, a driver who struggled a little bit initially. We'll try to get in a good hot lap here, as Crane now has exited and come back out onto the track. Moritz Hengelhaupt actually making up some time, it looks like, on Crane that time. Now the gap is down to 9 seconds, so Moritz and possibly Matthias Kraus. Moritz actually making up time on Matthias Kraus as well. So let's take a look at the pit lane time. Switch to the screen. We can see Hengelhaupt with one of the fastest pit lane times there, and Crane actually says Crane with a 45, so it must have been their in laps and out laps that did it, because these drivers not really, and you see Crozier there with a 42.5 on pit lane, so perhaps taking maybe a short fill. But Andrew Marquez now into the pits. See if we can only for those of you who have not seen one of these softwares before, there is buttons all over the place, literally looking at like 300 buttons staring at me in the face. sometimes a little difficult to figure out which one to click and get the info off the screen. But Adam Crane here retaking the lead over Hengelhaupt, and Hengelhaupt has actually pulled back about 2 seconds on that pit stop, so really good pit stop cycle for Hengelhaupt. And of course, even pulling out now, this gap was about 0.3 of a second back to, I'm sorry, 0.7 of a second, 0.6 of a second back to Matthias Kraus. It's actually now grown to 1.4 seconds. So Burcroft also now back 7.9 seconds, and you see Crozier still in the picture there behind Burcroft. So looks like fourth and fifth battling it out here for fourth. Second and third tangled in a battle there, and it is a question as to whether anybody has anything for this man, Adam Crane. Kind of the superstar right now in the series and across a lot of the IndyCars on iRacing, putting VRS satellite racing right up there in the points and in the finishes, stealing all that camera time. Sure, Crane is not too sad about that, nor Adam Dock and a number of others that are part of the team. We haven't actually seen any of them recently. We'd love to see some more members of these established teams. It was great when we had Hugo Olsson and Henry Bennett joining us. We had a couple of great teams represented at the top, but Olsson and Bennett choosing to run on a different day, either for scheduling reasons or for strategy reasons, trying to get points without having to face Adam Crane, not able to race on Sundays. Moritz Hengelhaupt in second and Matthias Kraus in third. And this has been tight all race. It kind of, like I said, was out. Now we've just seen Adam Crane with that lap of 1:14.63. So I don't see these two drivers just doing a 1:15.68. We'll see whether they can go any faster, but we'll go back, see if possibly this lap be able to see and there you can see in the sectors, second sector going purple for Crane, fourth sector going green, so up on fastest lap thus far. We might be seeing the world record for 2021 in the IndyCar set right here on VirtualRacing.Network. And Crane comes across the line. It is a 14.60. That is how close it is, but it looks like Rashad Craig will hang on to that world record potentially. We continue to watch on board and see if we can see any more of those purple sectors happen for the Speed Demon Adam Crane, but he'll have to back out now. Coming across, I believe, Alexei Talipov, just because Talipov, I believe, is the only one in the field with that Penske paint job. Crane still fastest through Sector 2. Will Crane get held up by Talipov? No, but not an optimal entry into the hairpin there. We don't want to miss any racing going on in the field, but this might be an exciting chance to see a world record live on VirtualRacing.Network. We certainly don't want to miss that, while Crane still has the new on the tires and some push to pass to throw at it. Figure if it doesn't happen this lap, most likely will not happen this stint. Crane, did he do it? No, that was a 1:15.69 this last time by, so definitely getting held up, and the lap time starting to move up into the 15s. As we can see, Alexei Talipov also having another incident again. I'm not sure how many off tracks, but from our count, which is not, we don't actually have this number from iRacing, it's just determined by the software, but it says Alexei Talipov has 8 incidents, and you're allowed 17 before you have to pit and 25 before you're DQ'd. So no idea how many actual incidents Alexei has, but working on 17 somehow. No offense to Talipov, but it's easy to get it wrong, you know, in these cars. And if you come out, maybe you haven't done a lot of laps, it's easy to have those incidents. Nevertheless, Adam Crane not having the incidents. You can see in comparison there the lap times to Hengelhop. Hengelhop slower by a second on the first couple of laps than just 3/10 this last time by, so the advantage starting to creep back towards Hengelhop is possibly, nope, that time by 1.4 seconds off the pace as well. Hengelhop to 1:16.74 that time, and Kraus a 1:16.91. So now Crozier trying to get around the lapped car of Dan Ench. Ench running in 14th, up a couple of spots, and Crozier still where they started in 4th. So, I mean, that's the type of, you know, honestly, I've come to love that sort of day where you qualify in the top 5 and you just kind of run your own race and nobody really challenges you and you just end up in 4th or 5th. I love that kind of race as a racer. It's got a lot of gap between me and the cars in front and behind for some reason or another. So Crozier probably happy to be in that spot. Of course, everybody would love to be up on the podium here on broadcast. But we're coming up to halfway. A few more laps to go, and then we'll be looking down the end of this race and trying to figure out the strategy. This gap, as I mentioned, has opened up now at 11.70 seconds. You can see Crane actually going much slower that time, probably getting held up or having an incident, but not seeing anything on the screen with an off track. And here you had a moment where I believe, actually, let's go back before we showed that. This was just moments before that. This Hengelhop perhaps having just a step out of the car, and Matthias Kraus getting around and pouncing just as there is an opportunity that opens up. So Kraus on the ball, waiting for his chance and diving for the position. But then, as we watch later in the lap, it would be Hengelhop who would move back ahead. Looks like Kraus getting a little bit of a slow acceleration off the corner there. Hengelhop getting a run, perhaps going to that push to pass. I see that Hengelhop has burned 3 push to pass, where Kraus and Crane, as well as Crozier, have not burned any push to pass. And there you see Hengelhop back up into the position. We'll go back to the live picture now, with Adam Crane out in front. Hengelhop now got a little bit of a gap. Gap between Crane and Hengelhop is 11.5 seconds. But Hengelhop back to Kraus, just 62 tenths, or 62 hundredths rather. Crozier kind of in a bubble, 9.9 seconds to Kraus in front, and 3.45 back to Dennis Fritz, who Fritz started in 7th, up to 5th right now, up 2 spots. See Marquez just behind. Marquez started very well. Looked like we might have a new potential winner of the race with Marquez, or at least a podium finisher, and he's still fighting it out there, Marquez, in 6th. So again, appreciate those of you joining us. Just a few of you joining us over on YouTube, but appreciate it, and always a chance to get to root on your favorite drivers here on Broadcast Friday. So make sure that you share these links, and if somebody doesn't know and you race with them, they want to get into this broadcasted race on Fridays, make sure you tell them that this they need to look up the schedule and get out here on the track. They can race with some of the great names in IndyCar right now: Adam Crane and Matthias Kraus, Andrew Marquez. We watch Crane continue to battle through traffic. So, Crane starts lap 34, and we are starting about halfway through the race, next lap by. So, we have... Oh, what has happened here? Did we have an incident between Marquez and possibly someone else? We have... I'm getting some notes here, and we're just watching to see if Marquez actually did crash, because it's saying that Marquez has crashed, but still shown in 6th place. So not real sure what that note was. We'll go ahead to the Justin Petshower incident, and they're having a moment, and Alexei Talupov with a rejoin, and that's just not that's not how you rejoin. And Alexei straight lining, as well as Crozier having a moment there. That would be Crozier's off. Ench also having a moment going off track. They're accelerating, going off track, and then accelerating, coming to a stop. Looks like gets it going again. So, a little bit of incidents there. Talupov later that same lap. Right off the track, into the wall. Nope. Back on track. That's how you rejoin. I was so wrong before. Now that's a classic rejoin. That's an iRacing rejoin right there. Of course, Talupov kind of a passenger in that incident. Not really much they could do about controlling it once it had flown off the track. Oh, we've got another. It's Emil Johansson, who has had a moment. If we can get to that. Wow, right. Was that right in front of our leader? Go back to that. There you see Adam Crane just getting around the corner. Let's see if we go just before that. There's Adam Crane approaching just behind. It's a lap car. Meanwhile, this car sliding off the track. Crane kind of slowing down a little bit there just to make sure no incidents. And that is, and now we have a note that Crozier passed Fritz. This is Crozier and Fritz battling it out for 4th place. And Fritz not crashing there, but I think the speed in that, the speed in the hairpin kind of throwing off our software, thinking that he did crash. Nevertheless, continuing on, unless Fritz threw it down the inside here, I don't think so. So Fritz continuing in 5th, Crozier just in front. And Crane back out in front of them all by 10.4 seconds a lap. It's Crane leading Hengelhop by 10 seconds. Hengelhop up over Matthias Kraus by 7/10. Pretty much where they were at the end of the last stint. This is almost exactly where they were, as well as Richard Crozier. Now 14 seconds off of Matthias Kraus, so continuing to slip back just a little bit. Fritz just behind, these two battling it out just a moment ago on track for 4th place. Crozier retaining where Crozier was originally. And just to talk about, again, the difference between these two drivers, Crozier is a 5,097 iRating driver. It's a very high iRating. It's not the highest, but it is the second highest in the race. And Dennis Fritz has a 2343 road iRating. So less than half of the iRating Dennis Fritz has, the number 10 car to the number 2 car, and yet Fritz hanging very, very close with that number 2 car of Richard Crozier. So if they were to finish where they're at, it would be Fritz who would get 59 iRating increase, and Crozier just getting 8 iRating increase. But you know, that's as you can see there on your screen, and it's weird because my software shows 8 in the timing scoring portion, but shows 7 on the screen. So you figure that one out. Thank you, SDK. Just continue to do my bug reports, and hopefully eventually we get it all sorted out. There you can see on screen Fritz having a moment, and Marquez slipping by right on the screen. If you were paying attention and I wasn't, Fritz dropping the spot and Marquez reclaiming one of those lost spots off of the start. Hopefully we can get Crane and possibly Marquez into broadcast booth here at the very end of the broadcast, and we'll be able to do our first interviews here. Can't believe I'm saying that, but we've been doing them in the other leagues that we've been covering for VirtualRacing.Network, but we haven't done podium interviews yet for this series. We have continual notes that Tom Pritchard has crashed, as well as notes that Andrew Duffy has crashed. Looks like Pritchard really having a moment. Let's see this one. I think this was... Yeah, this was... Oh, wow, this was right in front of Adam Crane again. Not crashing, but having a moment. Finally getting it back underway, I think. That is the same incident, and this just moments later from that. Apologize, we got 3 different incidents. So this is Tom now pulling it into the pits, probably having damage and or stopping for the second time. So Mora Tanglehop up 9/10 now on Matthias Kraus in that battle for second. So we watch Adam Crane kind of fluctuating in his pace. Last time by a 15.42. Moritz pretty much answering that, a 15.46, and Matthias Kraus 15.45. Crozier 15.58, and Marquez a 15.54. So all these drivers right in the same times. And now it's closed back up again, as it looks like Engelhop now having to deal with some lap traffic. See whether Kraus can continue to haul in Engelhop and possibly make a lunge into one of the great passing zones here at Sonoma. That's one of the cool things about this track. It actually retains, it kind of loses a little bit of the original passing zone that was at the end of this straightaway if you were running the NASCAR version, but you do gain this portion of the passing zone, which if you could get enough of a run, you can make a pass into. There is Engelhop, a driver in front just getting it wrong and looping in front of Engelhop. Engelhop kind of hard on the brakes and a little lockup there. Again, pattern from Hengelhaupt, if I can say, has been to kind of self-destruct in these races. So we'll see if Hengelhaupt can keep it together and keep it on track. Not lock up too much, but looks like Kraus's car handling quite a bit better up on the top of the hill. So Kraus now kind of all over the back, looking outside and in on Hengelhaupt. I'm sure Hengelhaupt very aware that there is a bright green car, green and red, white car in the mirrors there. That's what it looks like from the back of Hengelhaupt's car. The stalking Matthias Kraus staying just close enough again that should anything happen, Kraus might be able to make that move. Now, actually jump over to Mads Lund. Why? Because Mads Lund went off track for a second. I believe that is right. That is the looping right in front of Hengelhaupt that we saw a moment ago. And now Radek Sikora, again, it's saying that Radek has crashed, and indeed coming to a full lockup there, but getting it back going again. Not the worst kind of crashing that we've ever seen. And then we have Dan Ench getting around BR Crow, who I believe is in the pits at the moment, probably suffering damage from this incident, which we'll take a look at here. BR Crow possibly sliding off the track, and indeed in turn one off the track. You know, you get on the binders as much as you can, and it don't stop. That's what that sand does. It doesn't work as well as the tarmac. Rejoin, but the thing is broken, they say. So we'll pull it back into the pits. And so we go back. Apologize for it flashing around like that. Adam Crane now 11:40 the gap back to Moritz Hengelhaupt. So, you know, Moritz and Matthias actually, I would say, outside of the first several laps, actually hanging pretty good pace with Adam Crane. However, Adam Crane last time by a 14.96. Still no uses of push to pass for Mr. Crane, and also no push to passes for having been used for Kraus or Crozier. Marquez sitting in fifth has used just one, and Hengelhaupt in second has used several. To see a driver getting out of Crane's way. Here's Justin Petschauer, who the American up to ninth so far, starting back, I believe, in 17th position and up 8 spots. So looking very good for a top 10 for Justin. Radek Sikora, despite a couple different incidents today, up into the 8th spot. Mads Lund also having a couple of incidents, but still able to hang up there in 7th. Dennis Fritz has also been involved in a couple of incidents, one not by their own making, and I believe that is Radek Sikora, who is sitting there sideways on the track. Let's see if we can go back to that. Sikora coming through the chicane on the backstretch, and a little too eager on the gas, perhaps. Just to show you, looks like a good line, good acceleration, just no rear grip to get that thing going. So Sikora coming in, getting service, and back out underway. That will move Petschauer now up into the 8th spot, up 9 positions today. And Run back through the field here. Moritz Hengelhop started in third, up to second. Kraus has actually slid back a little bit. Bit of a gap now between Hengelhop and Kraus, but Kraus up 2 spots in third. Crozier in fourth. Marquez now running in fifth. So just down 3 spots from that second place starting position, but I'm sure Marquez going to keep the head down and keep battling. See if they can climb up into the very top end of this order. Still 24 laps to go here in virtual Sonoma Raceway, California, the dry western state of California. Send water if you can, but also you can send some love our way if you like this video and subscribe. Hate to keep throwing that out there, but we're on a roll. We're up to 103 subscribers thanks to viewers like you watching right now, subscribing to our channel, and not just me subscribing with the 3 accounts that I have. I appreciate everybody wanting to see the IndyCar iRacing series as well as US IndyCar League on Sundays. Then on Wednesdays, now we have an incident. Hang on one second. I believe, yes, it's actually an errant incident. Hengelhop and Kraus now into the pits. And as I was just saying, we also have the Prime Meridian Racing League, which is another league that we're broadcasting on Wednesdays. So again, good time to be subscribing and watching for some of our awesome IndyCar action. I'm just telling you, every time out in these leagues, it's just like a photo finish pretty much every race. Just doing the PMRL race on Wednesday was a photo finish, so, and a great chance to see another, very international cast of drivers, and some of the top drivers in iRacing, part of the PMRL. So reach out to them if you're interested in racing in that series over on iRacing, and they also have their own Discord. You can reach out to them over there as well. So here we go. Adam Crane in the pits. A lap later, just like he did last time. Lap later than Hengelhop. And this will allow Crozier to take second place at the moment. Marquez up into third. Those 2 drivers not yet having made their pit stop. Also, Kraus not having made a pit stop in this second cycle. Kraus be coming around this time by, and we will see whether Kraus will be able to. So we see Adam Crane, see whether Kraus heads straight for the pits this time by. Does not actually, continues around. But it won't matter because Crane is already back on track and in the lead. That is how far the gap has been for Crane over the other drivers, able to retake the lead despite needing a pit stop. So Kraus shown in second, Hengelhop in third, Crozier in fourth, Marquez in fifth, Fritz in sixth, excuse me, Mars Lund not having made his second stop, or Mads Lund, excuse me, not made their second stop, in seventh, and Justin Petschauer in the pits from 8th place. See whether Justin will be able to rejoin, keep that 8th. Nope, slides back down to 9th as Sakura there gets up into turn 1, so that will be some pace for Petschauer to find and be able to chase down Sakura, perhaps able to get that position back later on. And there you can see Kraus in the pits. No, Kraus had a moment just a moment ago. We can see Hengelhop making a move down the inside of Kraus. Kraus not able to get out in time. Hengelhop moving back into that second position. We'll watch it again as Kraus back in familiar territory, now behind Hengelhop. Let's go see if we can see that one more time. from Engelhop's point of view down the inside. Kraus struggling to get it back on track and keep up pace. And almost on cue, Radek Sikora looping it around, and that will allow, as I just mentioned a moment ago, Justin Petschauer to not only catch Sikora, but dive down the inside, and Sikora sees him at the very last second. With Petschauer really sending it, my goodness. Let's see if we can see that again from Petschauer's point of view. Ooh. Wow. Well, certainly poor Sikora. Oh, who then passed Petschauer. And what? I don't know. It's possible that Petschauer got a penalty for clipping that corner. Let's go back and see if we can figure this one out. Does Petschauer clip the corner, not on the inside, but possibly get some sort of a penalty for going? I don't think there is a cut track on the outside, but you see the way that Petschauer slowed down, possibly having to serve a cut track penalty for sure. I mean, that's definitely what it looks like. In the meantime, we have Dan Ench, unfortunately, having a moment. Just that really tricky chicane, straight lining it there. Gets it back going again. Oh, having to take the slowdown penalty, of course. And there's Sikora going by. But meantime, it's Adam Crane. Crane Racing out of Ottawa, Canada. Probably misses the nearby races that were going on in the IndyCar series over the last 15-20 years. Hopefully not too far of a trek to get over to Toronto if they bring that track back soon. But nevertheless, able to get it done from the sim rig each and every week. And Adam Crane is, well, it's got 19, soon to be 18 to go here in round 10 on VirtualRacing.Network of the 2021 IndyCar iRacing series. And just putting in a day's work. This is how you win championships, by qualifying on pole and just drive away from everybody. I mean, I don't know why everybody makes it so complicated. You just go faster than everybody else, and then just don't make any mistakes. If you're not driving and getting pole position and winning races, well, then get better. I'm just kidding. Totally just kidding. Get gooder. Seriously, we joke around about that kind of stuff over in Discord, but what Adam Crane is doing here in this series, we say get better, get gooder, as if it's easy to do. It is not. Those extra tenths of a second, those extra, saving your tires, knowing how to execute strategy, knowing how to execute the adjustments to the tools in the cockpit of the IR18 IndyCar, it just comes with ample months and years of experience. And it's like watching one of the masters in the real IndyCars or Formula One, in IndyCar for so many years. It was Sebastian Bourdais dominating, in Champ Car, in kart, at various times. Juan Pablo Montoya, Alex Zanardi. Of course, over the years, you've seen everybody from, you can go back into the 80s, the 70s. There's times where you thought, this driver, they're at the top of their game, but they just seem to dominate. Well, the playing field is fairly even here, everyone. I mean, iRacing is a platform where really anybody can develop their setups, There's free, very in-depth tools to being able to develop these setups, and of course you can always download a very competitive setup from, say, a Craig setup shop, or and that one is free to go in and so we watch some close lapping action. Adam Crane having to deal with some lap cars and make his way through traffic here. Next up will be Justin Headshower, who gives a little bit of room. All of us on the same Discord, the IndyCar Discord. So, you know, you really have to execute, and that's the main thing. You have to be consistent. You can't be sliding off the track occasionally and giving up those positions. You can't be struggling with your qualifying. You know, if you do, I mean, we've seen Adam Crane with his pace. Road America, for example, being able to come back from the very back of the field and make it quite a show on Broadcast Friday. If you missed that race, as well as any of the other races here in IndyCar iRacing series, go back and watch the playlist that we've created, and you'll see from the very beginning how this championship has unfolded. And it's been basically the same thing. Adam Crane qualifying well each week and being able to stay consistent and be up there at the top end for the finishes. It's just, he's one of these drivers, as I mentioned, with all of those dominant names that have, you know, you see other drivers current day, like Penske drivers, Simon Pagenaud, Joseph Newgarden, and over for a while it looked like Andretti was on a hot streak and that nobody could top them. But just like the real life IndyCar series, any one of these competitors can be competitive, whether you're in second place, third place, first place. You know, doesn't make any difference. You can connect with that track, you can get better, you can get faster, you can make your setups better. Altogether, you can go and challenge a driver like Adam Crane. As untouchable as Adam may seem, every single competitor has their nemesis out there, and I know Adam Crane, though he's dominating here in this series, always welcomes that competition. Would love to be able, I'm sure, to race with Henry Bennett and Hugo Olsson and some of the other series, getting to race with some of the other top names, Brandon Traino, as well as lots of different i5G drivers, Christian Steele and Michele Constantini, sometimes showing up in races. And of course, top talent across the board. Sometimes we've seen Andreas Eichen from Team Talent, and Liam Quinn, a number of other drivers joining the broadcasts over time. Joshua Chin from different teams all around the IndyCar world on iRacing. And so anyway, just great to have different competitors step in with us here in the series. We'd love to have more of the top talent joining us for Broadcast Fridays and giving Adam a chance at it, but that gives you a chance, even if you're not a top name. If you can practice our next track, which we'll take a look at our schedule at the end, you know, get your qualifying in order, get your race setup in order, and show up prepared for Broadcast Friday, and you might get a chance to take on Adam Crane and Moritz Engelhaupt, Matthias Kraus. We'll be calling your name. So in the meantime, drivers we are calling the names of: Adam Crane, Moritz Engelhaupt, Matthias Kraus, Richard Crozier, Andrew Marquez, and Dennis Fritz. All these drivers still on the lead lap. And we're seeing that a number of drivers still having issues. Looks like Duffy possibly had an issue there. We're going to go take a look at that. Andrew Duffy has managed to get up into 9th, despite having a couple of moments. Nope. So, not a crash. Just going into the pits. And Crane here with 13 laps to go. Looking at that 17-second gap but not able to take the clean sweep of the world records today. Still has 10 push to passes remaining, and so we possibly... Could we see... I don't think we'll be seeing anybody else coming in for pit stop, so most likely we will not see an attempt at that race world record for the 2021 IndyCar, but we did get to see the qualifying world record set right here on VirtualRacing.Network, and a lot of people, including some very top IndyCar drivers, are like, what? Why would you even care about that world record? That's not the real world record. Who cares? But it means something because, again, these cars are most likely never... So we see Engelhaupt and Kraus now right in this battle again for second place. Just keep this on your screen. But Kraus now really close to the back end of Engelhaupt. Engelhaupt struggling, perhaps with the tires, maybe trying to do a fuel save. Kraus having a look down the inside, soon to be the outside as we go to the left-hand sweeper. Kraus having to back out, just giving Engelhaupt something to think about. Been doing it all race long, taking advantage of opportunity, saying, I'm not going anywhere. Don't think you're going to get that second place that easily. I've got a championship to fight for, says Kraus, I'm sure. Engelhaupt up there in the points as well, but Kraus making a solid effort, not only here, but across many races, to try to get up there in the points. So this is probably the closest battle happening here on track at the moment. Everyone else separated by some seconds. So we'll watch as Kraus still tries to put in the laps and see if they can close it down and get Engelhaupt sleeping. Catch Engelhaupt sleeping, but 11 seconds to go. It seems like that turn one is a real problem for Engelhaupt, as is that corner right there. Whatever Kraus is doing setup-wise or in-car adjustments-wise, able to keep Kraus right up there. So Kraus just having a fantastic day on those red tires. And of course, should have mentioned at the top of the broadcast, there are the red tires, there are the black tires. And really the only time that the black tires, the primary tires, get used in this series, since there is no requirement to run both, as there is in the real life series, and there is both in and there is also in IndyCars. The only time, and I mean in other IndyCar leagues, excuse me, the only time that you would use the black tires is when it's excessively hot. I mean, it's got to be way up in the 130s for the track temperature, and then it's maybe about an even shot as to whether the black tires with their longevity is better than the overall pace with the red tires. But sometimes black tires can hang on to the red tires. Of course, it depends on the driver and how aggressive they are, or whether they're taking care of the tires or not. 10 laps to go, and Adam Crane out in front, getting it done here on VirtualRacing.Network. Putting in a championship kind of day. Started on the pole and avoiding incidents, as always is the case, but today much more difficult, as even though it's a relatively small field of 18, still having to work around a number of drivers with very low iRatings for road, and sometimes that can mean catastrophe. Usually just means you need to take your foot out of the throttle a little bit more. And as I say, you know, I don't mean that it's just drivers with 1,000 or so iRatings. That's not what I'm talking about. Just saying that in general, drivers relatively new to the circuit, and even some drivers up in the 2, 3, 4,000s, they won't give an inch either, even if they're a lap or 2 or 4 down. So, absolute pleasure to have 0 people watching us currently on YouTube. We're out here broadcasting to ourselves at the moment, Adam. But that's cool because this is some awesome action. And of course, I think everybody just kind of tuning in for Nashville, so we hope everybody will tune back in to the race afterwards. And this one kind of a bit settled, so you can understand. Adam Crane, now I say a bit settled, you know, anything can happen in these last 9 laps. I mean, for sure. You've got Adam Crane in the lead, Moritz Engelhaupt in second, Matthias Kraus in third, Richard Crozier in fourth. If you're somebody like Andrew Marquez especially, you are up there in the top 5 of the points. This week, I mean, if you don't want to write off this week, you're really going to be banging your head against your desk trying to figure out how to get these points, how to get back up there and chase Richard Crozier, find a way to get that 15 seconds back. Because, I mean, you're putting in the laps. Currently, that last time by a 16.15 for Marquez. So you're just hoping, just crossing your fingers, your toes, and just hoping that Crozier or Kraus or perhaps Engelhaupt or Crane has an incident, or maybe that all 4 of them wipe each other out and that you can get those points. Pretty helpless at this point, and you're going to need some help. So, you know, you watch with 8 laps to go. As a driver, you're watching that. You're always sitting there watching and trying to find out whether or not cars in the front are having an issue, and maybe you'll inherit that lead. As we see Adam Crane that time by a 1:14.581, burned a push to pass to get there. And as you can see there on the screen, we're in the wrong mode, apologize for that, but there on the screen was the race fast lap. A 5.1 is necessary, with Adam Crane doing a 5.8 that last time by. Will we see Adam Crane hit the button again and go for that race world record? We're sitting on pins and needles. See if we can see current sector times, and Crane not yet on the button this lap, so might be letting the tires cool a little bit. We'll see this time by. A 15.21 this time by, so maybe Adam didn't like the entry into turn 1 and backing it off, not trying to burn off the last of those tires. Perhaps it's going to be a little close on fuel, but we will watch from Adam's cockpit, see if he starts burning push to pass, and whether these sectors turn green or purple potentially. And they don't appear to be. So we have a note that Johansson having a moment. Emil Johansson just kind of going out wide. I think letting, I believe that was Andrew Marquez get through. Indeed it was. Go back to the live picture there of Marquez on track. And again, just hoping that Crozier or someone, Crozier on the button at the moment, but hoping that Crozier has a moment and parks his car, goes sliding off. We go back to this battle. It's been close each lap. And you see Crane faster than Engelhaupt, but that doesn't really matter right now. What matters to Engelhaupt is who is in the mirrors, and that is Matthias Kraus. Matthias has been there all day. And this time, I think Matthias might be serious, or at least for the broadcast, I sure hope that's the case. Matthias might make a lunge down the inside. Matthias still has 10 push-to-passes. Moritz with 6. Crane still not using the remaining push-to-passes. I think maybe Crane might be just happy to let this one end up where it does. No need to force the issue. Try to go for that world record. Might be a little excessive today. Somewhere out there, Rashad Craig doesn't know it, but is smiling a smile of relief. But of course, still a couple races to go this week. Several races to go, actually. Tomorrow, and then I believe 2 tomorrow, and then Sunday. And there you see a driver going out quite wide. I believe that's Sakura. Kraus, again, with those 10 push-to-passes, and I'm sure Kraus did not forget to map the push-to-passes to the wheel, so there's usually a reason for that, of not burning those push-to-passes, and it's either a strategy thing, in which case with 4 to go, you would think right now would be the time where Matthias would start on, using them. Possibly waiting until the very last lap, 2 to go, 1 to go. We'll find out. Another reason why you would hang on to that is if you're tight on fuel, you use push to pass and it burns more fuel. So if you're doing some sort of fuel saving or something, it doesn't help. Sometimes you have to use it just to defend or to make up for something that you did wrong. But that would be why you would hang on to those push-to-passes. Sometimes there just isn't really a place to use it. And on a track like this, there's some places to use it. For example, maybe coming out of this hairpin would be a good spot. Like right here, I would throw on that push-to-pass, and if I was closer to Hengelhop there, I might get a chance at him. And there, trying the outside in. Hengelhop super slow through that corner. Now that is a chance as a racer. If you're Matthias, you've noticed that Hengelhop has been slow there, been slow here. Same places on the track each lap. So that's a perfect place to say it's time to make a move. So we watch these drivers continue to circle. Just 3 laps to go for Adam Crane out in front, and trying to finish this one off. Another masterpiece by the master of the IndyCar, Adam Crane, defending series champion, current series leading driver. And with a race like today, again, it's a question as to whether the Sunday broadcast will be anywhere close to the same strength of field. That, of course, really matters in the grand points of the standings, because the higher the strength of field in the race that you are a part of. So we'll take a look one more time at those points on your screen. Adam Crane leading Henry Bennett by well over 100 and coming up on 140 points, and over Matthias Kraus. So, being in this race, it's very possible that some drivers are going to make up ground there. Matthias Kraus probably not able to make up ground on Henry Bennett that much, but over the long run might be able to if this continues, with those drivers choosing to participate when they do, how they do. So just part of the strategy that's going on in these races and in this league on how you want to try to score points and when you have available time to race and when you don't. So Hengelhop doing everything that they can to stay up there in the top as Crane takes the white flag. Last time by a 1:14.83. Crozier last time a 1:14.66. So putting in a fantastic time with the push to passes. Dennis Fritz burning a push to pass. These drivers on your screen now, Hengelhop and now Kraus using the push to pass. So perhaps we will see a move after all Thought maybe Kraus was not going to make that move. Will Kraus be close enough here to make the lunge? This was one place where Kraus was able to do it before. Now trying to get this run. He's set up for the long left-hander that will lead on to basically our backstretch. We watch for Adam Crane, who is on the final lap. I don't think Matthias Kraus is going to be able to get close enough. We'll keep an eye on that. Currently 0.6 of a second back, but this driver, Adam Crane, brings it across the start-finish stripe for one final time. Your victor here in Sonoma for round 10 as we watch this battle continue to ensue for second place. Hengel hopped with Kraus right behind. Will we see a last minute move? Kraus goes to the outside, gets it locked up, can't quite get around the outside or do the crossover, and will struggle as Kraus burned 6 push passes that lap, and all for naught as not able to get around. Crozier brings it home in 4th, and Andrew Marquez still bringing it home in 5th. So Marquez brings it home in 5th. 3 spots lost today, unfortunately. Fritz in 6th gained a spot. Be probably very happy with that finish. Mods Lund will bring it home in 7th. And Radek Sikora stopping on track, having been a lap down. Andrew Duffy also. Justin Pedschauer now coming across in 10th place. Emil Johansson in 11th. And Dan Ench rounding out the last of the finishers in 12th. But it was the Adam Crane show today, as we will be able to take a look here at your final results. And there you go. Adam Crane victorious for VRS Satellite Racing. Not all of these team names set correctly. Finally figured out how to get access to that. You see Adam Crane driving it and parking it here for us. Gonna do some big donuts in the middle of the no man's land where the NASCAR logos are. Fans in attendance, I'm sure, screaming at the top of their lungs, standing up on the hill, drinking their wine, eating their cheese. As Adam Crane lights it off. See Adam Crane with the victory. Moritz Hegelhoff second. Matthias Kraus in 3rd. Final step of the podium there. Richard Crozier in 4th. Andrew Marquez in 5th. Dennis Fritz in 6th. And of course Mods Lund there 7th. Radek Sikora in 8th. Andrew Duffy in 9th. Justin Pedschauer in 10th. Emil Johansson in 11th. And Ench 12th. Alexei Talipov had a race to forget in 13th. Somehow still bringing it home in 13th. And BR Crow, you see the rest there finishing up your order that through 17th. And then just one more. I thought there was one more driver, but we only ended up with 17. I guess somebody pulling out there at the end. So with that, we possibly will get a chance, if we can convince them to come over and join us in the broadcast booth. Don't know if they remember that we're doing this thing where we're going to interview everybody. They're just quietly getting their water in the back. Currently in the back, just doing their cool down, talking it over. I know Andrew Marquez and Adam Crane, of course, friends through Discord, racing together quite a bit, and possibly going to get a chance to chat if they decide that they actually want to be interviewed. Perhaps they will choose not to. It's, of course, up to them. But we've dinged them through the I'm not sure if Andrew wants to join us or not, coming home with the 5th place. But I've dinged Andrew to come over to the broadcast booth. I ain't gonna mess around anymore. If Andrew or Adam does not want to join us, that's fine. Oh, and there, Adam has popped into the waiting room. We appreciate it. And let's see if we can get Adam to join us over in the broadcast booth. So, Adam, you know what? I'll just jump into the waiting room. That's pretty much just as easy for me. Adam, can you hear me?
I got a copy.
All right, great. Yeah, so I was just struggling to get this all set up at the end. I thought I had it so set up perfect, but just like that, you coming into this race today, round 10, you have no idea what to expect on Broadcast Friday, but wow, did you equip yourself well. I mean, we see you with awesome, dominant performances, but this was one for the record books. It looked like you were on another planet, not only taking pole position and the 2021 IndyCar world record for Sonoma, but then in the race, just executing so well out in front all race long. Adam, another masterful drive. Congratulations on your victory.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll hold my breath a little bit on the world record just because I know this track layout was only released a little while ago, but I'll definitely never say no to a track record. As far as the race itself, once I was able to get a little bit of a gap to Moritz, then it was just about managing the tire, managing the car, giving lap cars a lot of room because it was a lower SOF than I think I probably would have wanted. And just being patient and managing the car in the race was the name of the game from there. It looks like there was a pretty intense battle for P2, so I'll have to go back and take a look at that. But as far as my race, it was remarkably calm and yeah, just about managing.
Well, you talk about it being a lower strength of field. Of course, all of that is relative. None of the championship contenders really showing up on Wednesday night, and Ty McWhirter actually taking the victory there. But then on Wednesday, and then here, this is a significantly higher strength of field, 2,500 and some. But we don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the week. And if the strength of field isn't any higher, then you've just taken the bulk of the points for the week and done your championship a lot of good. So you just really don't know what to expect. That being said, a single split, some drivers in the 1000s iRating, I'm sure you had your hands full just getting around some drivers out there with the lap traffic.
Yeah, some of the etiquette of the slower cars was not ideal. But I mean, with the lower SOF, you sort of have to just take your time. And luckily, I had that gap to Moritz that I could afford to burn. There was one section of the race there where there was a battle for P11 and P10, I think, and I literally gave them almost three laps to just sort themselves out a little bit, and it ended up working out. That I ended up losing like 3 seconds to Moritz, but like I said, when you're into that situation, it's better just to be smart, and I had time to burn, so why not burn it?
Absolutely, yeah. Why be cautious, and that's one of the things that we talked about. It's not just about being the fastest driver out there, and of course you are the fastest driver at the moment, but it's not just that. It's thinking of the long-term implications, not only for the whole race and maybe discretion being the better part of valor, but also if you think about the championship, what's it worth to get taken out in a race by somebody who might be a little erratic in front of you, instead just giving that space and working with what you've got. So anything that you encountered here with the Sonoma layout, again, this being the IndyCar layout, was it tricky today? Did you feel like there was enough passing zones? Did it burn off the tires at all?
There were a couple tricky spots, mainly the last chicane down at the back straight, and then turn 2, just because of how much weight is shifting from over the front to the rear. I was seeing a lot of people were getting caught out in that particular spot. So I was just managing my car specifically with my tools and with my with the driver inputs, just making sure that I sort of rolled through there a little bit more. The tire wear for this track was actually quite a bit lower than I would have thought, considering it's in California and the track temperature was pretty warm. And on top of that, the session started with a clean track, so there was absolutely no rubber down. But we were able to pretty much remain within a second of the fastest lap. So I think that that's probably around half a second to a second faster than we'd see at other tracks like a Road America, say,
Sure.
where we'd see like a 2-second fall off.
Sure.
Here I was able to stay within a second pretty easy, so I guess the surface must be pretty smooth, and it was reds the whole way, so it made strategy pretty simple too.
Yeah, exactly. Not a thought. We were talking about it. It'd have to go probably over 130 degrees track temp before it would even make sense to think about using black tires, since there's no requirement here. Well, amazing drive from beginning to end today. Not only taking that pole position, and currently tentatively the IndyCar the IR18 2021 world record for the qualifying. Rashad Craig, of course, still holding on to the race record, which could still fall by the end of the week. But also, it's not just getting it done here, it's getting it done in other series. It's not like you just spend all week preparing for Sonoma with VRS Satellite Racing. You're actually in the lead of the Road Open series as well. And so right now, it's easy to say that you're actually the top IndyCar driver on iRacing. It must feel pretty darn good. And what's it been like to fight your way into this position? Because it's been Adam Blocker and a number of other drivers, Brandon Trano at the top, but here you're finding yourself at the top each week. How does it feel to you?
It definitely feels good to be leading the championships in both the Open and the iRacing IndyCar series. I wouldn't go so far as to say that I'm the best IndyCar driver. It's probably just more the case that I've had a little bit more luck in some of the Open races, and there are quite a few really, really quick drivers who have had other commitments or doing other things that are preventing them from running in the series, or they just decline running, which is fine too. Certainly would like a little bit larger participation for these races to make these awesome broadcasts that you put on a little bit more entertaining and to shorten the gaps between the cars. But I will definitely not say no to leading the points in any championship, let alone this one.
Well, you heard it there. Obviously, as Adam Crane says, he would like another few drivers to join us that are up there in the 5,000-6,000 iRating field. Give them a shot. But at the same time, Adam, it doesn't matter who shows up. We saw Hugo Olsson and Henry Bennett show up earlier and take you on, and they're two of the top IndyCar drivers out there. They couldn't seem to prevail. They've chosen to race at a different time slot. I don't know if anybody's got anything for you, and as I said before, it looks like you're doing it not just here, but across the board for iRacing. So everybody out there, it's pretty special to watch Adam Crane and VRS Satellite Racing rising up through the ranks. But here we take a look at the remaining schedule. So, of course, we've got the Indy Road circuit coming up, and then Gateway. Of course, the Elite just doing Gateway, and I think Gateway's just coming up for the Open Series. But then Road Atlanta, Laguna Seca, Long Beach, still plenty of great racing coming up. Just one oval remains on the calendar. Anything you've got circled as one of your favorites or something you're looking forward to?
Definitely like Indy Road. I'm always a big fan of any super long straight where we can really let the IndyCar stretch its legs. Not so fantastically, the one remaining oval in the schedule is probably my bogey track and the one that I really, really dislike the most. Which is funny because Gateway is one of those oval tracks that a lot of people say is probably the closest to a road track.
Sure.
Which is why Romain Grosjean did a test there on top of it being the last oval track, but one that he could really get his feet wet and have it be pretty similar or as close as he can get to a road course. So that it's kind of a bogey track for me is kind of ironic, but Definitely looking forward to Long Beach as well, which should be the finale, I think, and
Yep.
hopefully bringing home a championship for VRS Satellite Racing again.
That would be amazing to see. Again, you've had some great competitors in this series with now Matthias Kraus coming on late, Andrew Marquez coming on late. We'll see whether anyone does have a chance to take you on for the championship. But at the moment, you are our series leader. And we will see going into next week at the Indy Road Circuit whether anybody, including Hengelhaupt, can come back and challenge you, because I remember Hengelhaupt was very strong in the previous race there. So, well, Adam, thank you so much for speaking to us, and congratulations, not just here, but all season long and across the multiple championships that you're fighting for. And I look forward to, at some point, getting to race you on the track. But in the meantime, we'll see you next time here on the Virtual Racing Network broadcast.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, and thanks for putting on these awesome broadcasts. It's great to have someone doing some work building the community presence throughout the internet and online.
You bet. My absolute pleasure. Pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much. Good luck with the rest of your season, Adam. So that's Adam Crane joining us here live on broadcast for our first interview after one of these broadcasts. And again, here, VirtualRacing.Network, having been part of the IndyCar iRacing series broadcasts for this season since the beginning. We'll look forward to staying with you to the end. There you see the schedule on your screen going to the end. So make sure you mark down during that week on that Friday. That is when we are going to be broadcasting. I believe we also have Andrew Marquez. Let me see if I can find him over there. He was sipping some Gatorade a second ago. Andrew, are you there in the booth?
I am.
All right, awesome. So Andrew, this was an interesting day. First of all, we apologize we didn't get a chance to speak with you last time on broadcast, but we're so glad we get a chance this time. You were up there. You almost, you were close enough to the pole that you could have spelled it. And then you started in second. Talk us through what happened on the start and saw you slide back from your second place all the way back into eighth. Then you managed to get up there into fifth at the end. So what happened to you at the start and what caused you to slide back?
So in the beginning, I was just struggling mightily on cold tires, and then by the time I started warming up, I was kind of in the middle of a bit of a cluster. And then about halfway through the run, we got to about the hairpin, and I got punted, fell back all the way to eighth, and it was just a matter of trying to fight back from there. Didn't make it easy on myself, but to manage to get a top 5 after all that, I'll take it.
Yeah, a top 5, exactly. And as we just talked about, you know, you're up there in the points, you're fighting for the championship, trying to climb up the ladder, and also the same as Adam Crane, you know, in the Indy Open Series, you're doing the same thing. You're right up there in the top of the points. So this race having a little bit of meaning for you, and this being the highest strength of field race, you brought your A game, and it must have been so difficult to be sitting back there and just hoping to be able to move forward through the race as other drivers like Moritz Hengelhaupt and Matthias Kraus really didn't suffer any issues whatsoever. They kept it clean. Richard Crozier, the number 2 car for the day, he kept it very clean as well, was able to put in a very fast lap there at the end. So from your perspective, you managed to pick one off at a time, 1 and 2 coming back, finally ending up there in the top 5. And for you in the points, high strength of field today, you should be able to stay up there in the points given whatever happens Sunday. Must feel pretty good, though, getting a top 5 here on broadcast.
Oh, yeah. Knowing that this is basically the highest strength of field we'll probably get all week. To get a top 5 is critical for my championship fight. I don't know if I have really anything for Crane. He was way too good today, and he's typically way too good for us this season. But you know what? To be where I am, I couldn't be happier. Just wish that I had kept it a little cleaner. I probably would have gone closer to a podium.
Well, and you definitely had you had it locked in terms of pace to be up there on the podium, and certainly last time that we had a broadcast, you were right there. So very quickly becoming a household name here on the VRN broadcasts. And so it's great to get a chance to actually chat with you, because you and I have raced occasionally in the Indy Open Series, and it's so cool to be able to see you climbing up through the ranks as well. As I mentioned, you know, wasn't that long ago that that all of us were kind of on the outside looking in on the top 10, and now you're right up there in the top 10. Last season, you were in the top 10 for both the Open and the Fixed Series, and of course now you're in the top 5 for this series. You're right there at the top end of the points for all of these different series at the moment. How does it feel, and are you doing anything special yourself to try to manage your time and practice on various tracks, keep the setups going? What's it like to have to manage and stay up on your game like that so you can stay fresh and at the top of the points?
It's certainly interesting to balance time between, outside of racing and getting into the rig and getting some practice in, especially since I'm doing Open, Fixed, and IIS. To be kind of in the fight for all 3 championships on a regular basis is no easy task, but I just see it as nothing but positive, because the more seat time I get in the car, whether it be ovals, road courses, fixed, open, every bit counts, and it certainly helps help me get to the pace that I have now. I know that there's a lot more to find, but I'll find it one day, just hopefully soon.
Well, at the rate that you're climbing, I'm predicting you being the champion of all of these in at least one more season. So, in just about one more season. So I'm just looking at a straight line trajectory. You've been climbing so fast. But, I appreciate you joining us on Broadcast Friday, of course, making this an even better show, and just proving the case that on occasion you really don't know what to expect. Andrew Marquez and Adam Crane, 2 of the absolute best IndyCar drivers on iRacing, and coming home top 5 here for Andrew Marquez, our top American finisher. Just thank you so much for making Broadcast Friday that much better with your presence, and good luck in all 3 fights, including this one, Andrew. We'll look forward to getting a chance to talk to you, maybe from one of the steps of the podium next time.
Yeah, that's the hope. Thank you, Trevor, for hosting, for broadcasting, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Andrew Marquez joining us from New Jersey, coming home 5th and staying right up in the pointy end of the points with that finish. And you saw it right here on VirtualRacing.Network. It was Adam Crane setting the qualifying world record thus far for 2021 for the IndyCar. And Andrew, of course, there we just talked to, bringing home 5th. Moritz Engelhaupt finishing 2nd. Stellar drive, looks to continue. This time did not self-destruct, kept it together, finished positively in 2nd place on the podium. Matthias Kraus in 3rd in that beautiful machine, reminiscent of the old days of kart. Well, that's going to do it for us here on... Actually, we'll jump over here to the checkered flag. It's going to do it for us here on VirtualRacing.Network. Adam Crane was your stellar victor. There was no answer for him today, and Sonoma belongs to Adam, and most likely the most points for the week. It's been my pleasure to bring you the broadcast for all of today. My name again, Trevor Greenfield, and if you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button. So for the rest of the team, which includes myself here at VirtualRacing.Network and all the competitors of the 2021 IndyCar iRacing Series, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time from the Indy Road Circuit. So for now, it's Trevor Greenfield signing off. Bye-bye, everyone.